Hello and welcome to my easy to understand guide to the Arctic Monkeys and their music video I Bet That You Look Good on the Dance Floor, with a particular focus on audiences. This video is going to be really relevant for you if you are studying AQA GCSE Media Studies. This is currently one of the set texts on that specification. I do have other videos about the Arctic Monkeys and the other GCSE set texts on my channel, so don't forget to check those out. So we're going to have a look at how the video in particular targets audiences and which audiences it seems to particularly engage and why. The feel of this video and all the media language is designed to make it feel as though this is real and live. So the studio setting, there's a kind of shaky voice. It's not kind of perfectly mastered audio. He's not hitting all the notes exactly as they were written. There's a ladder in the background. It looks a bit unfinished. And so that really gives the impression that this is live and real. And a lot of audiences really like that feeling. The close-up shots of the instruments being played is going to appeal to those audiences who really like musical skill and who are particularly interested in bands who do actually play their own instruments. The lead singer actually says, "Don't believe the hype," which is very kind of self-deprecating. It's that idea that he's almost making him and his band seem less good than people think they are. And people do quite like that. It feels quite humble. It doesn't feel too vain. And it does sort of suggest that there is hype by contrast. So that might engage an audience. Some audiences might be thinking, oh, there's hype, this is interesting. And some audiences might particularly like the humble way in which he talks about his band. The use of the close-ups and the low angles on the lead singer in particular make him feel quite powerful and important. And that's going to give a lot of young audiences, particularly male audiences, a feeling that he's a role model and someone that they can look up to. The video has a real vintage or retro feel. So there's a kind of noise filter on top of the video, which gives it that slightly old-fashioned, crackly feel to the footage. And there are lots of intertextual references in this to other famous music products like the TV show Top of the Pops and also the Old Grey Whistle Test. And those references are going to be understood by maybe potentially older audiences, so people kind of aged 35 and over, and so perhaps targeting that older audience with things that they in particular are going to be engaged by. Even if you don't understand the intertextual references, a lot of audiences quite enjoy that retro feel now. It's quite popular and in fashion, so that might engage audiences who like the kind of retro vintage style of music. There's references in the music video to Romeo and Juliet, and so potentially targeting, a British or even global audiences or who are familiar with that kind of Shakespeare story. Use of references to engage particular demographics. There's other things that engage lovers of music as well, not just the shots of the instruments. So for example, they talk about banging tunes and DJ sets in the music. So there's a real targeting of music lovers, people who enjoy music and go and watch music a lot. So there's a reference to Dirty Dancing, which has got, came out in the 80s, so it's got a bit of an older audience. There's also references to Duran Duran, where he says your name isn't Rio. And so again, a kind of 80s track, potentially targeting that older target audience. Online fans were particularly engaged by the way this was marketed. So I've said in my other video that focuses on industry that fans actually shared a lot of this content online. They took the song, pirated the song off the CDs that were handed out, and then shared those songs illegally on file sharing websites online. And that helped to market it. So fans were actually very much actively involved in selling the band and increasing the profits for this song. Fans also made their own MySpace page for the band as well, because it didn't exist they didn't have their own page at the time and fans wanted one. So fans actually kind of textually poaching content, making their own tracks and making their own content and really getting involved. It shows that audiences are quite active in the music industry. Obviously, the idea is they hope that audiences are going to take the preferred reading, but there's always going to be audiences that maybe respond differently to media products. Some audiences will not understand the references to the older media products like Dirty Dancing and Duran Duran and Top of the Pops. They'd just be too young to get those, and that might put some audiences off. Some audiences don't like the retro feel. They think it makes it feel bad quality or poor quality, and they might be preferring something that looks and feels more high budget. And some audiences just don't like the live style of the music video. They prefer kind of a more narrative-based approach rather than a performance-based approach. So there are some audiences that might not respond entirely positively to the music video. So that was my easy to understand guide to the Arctic Monkeys, I Bet That You Look Good on the Dance Floor, and audiences. Don't forget to check out my channel for other videos that are going to be relevant for you. And if there are any videos that you would like that I don't already have, please leave a little comment below and I will see what I can do.